This is a free podcast from the BBC. For more information, you can go to our website, bbc.co.uk/Radio 2.
At last. Good morning, darling.
My dear, what time did you get up on Saturday after Children in Need?
Well, the present Lady Wogan gave me the old full English in bed, you know. And I got the laughing gear around the snorkers and the bacon and the egg, and I felt revived, alert and refreshed.
And then went back to bed.
And then went to sleep again for the rest of the day. Thank you for all your help, and my hat is raised to everybody in Radio 2.
Is there a fee involved?
Oh, for standing in for a couple of moments?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Here, you just find me momentarily embarrassed at the moment.
I'll be out of your Wednesday.
You're a great woman. Sarah Kennedy, demanding overtime, and rightly so, for her efforts. I'm afraid it's the new equipment, you know, and nobody's quite knows how it works. We've had it for a year or two, but you still get a number of people standing, looking at it and going... And that's about it. Anyway, thank you again for a wonderful evening, and your contributions were staggering. £19 million, absolutely brilliant. And as for Radio 2 listeners, unbelievable contribution of £2.5 million. Another fantastic effort, and indeed all the mail reflects your delight as well as mine. Fantastic. What are you doing there?
Sorry, I'm trying to pack up.
Well, I know, but... She carries a lot of equipment, you know. There's a portmanteau. She's got everything in there. Yes, thank you. Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Could you put my duster up?
Yes, I will. Anything. And again, as I say, congratulations from an awful lot of people, and thank you, Don. Congratulations are yours. You're the ones who made the donations. But it was a great evening. Even I enjoyed it. A little question of doubt over, never mind the buzzcocks, but can't have everything. I'm still, as I say, most of the letters this morning are about Friday night, and it was really, I think, and I am biased, a terrific show. But funny you should mention the buzzcocks. I happen to mention buzzcocks, where Radio 1 thrashed Radio 2, and rightly so. Funny you should say that. Good to see the chemistry between Tony the Kid, Blackburn, and the gang is still there. Well, chemistry in the sense of dropping a large lump of sodium into a small bowl of water. Emma C. of Leamington Spa. See how much more fun you would have had you been at Rockwell College. Jesuits. Ha! Show me the boy, I'll show you a wimp. Look, just because I got run over by that big centre in the Munster Cup, that doesn't make you a bad person. Congratulations on a fabulous week of fundraising. Ah, well, wonderful. Culminating on the Friday evening extravaganza. Good of Mr. Clooney to turn up incognito to do the presentation. Such a shame he was out of his depth, and never mind the buzzcocks. Ah, yeah, but sure, as long as you have Jezza Vine and Kenny Bruce with you, everything will be all right. So, says Rob Sinfield, and most of the letters, for reasons that escape me, appear to be about this. Our plucky lads are out of Euro 2008. And at the end of the day, Sinfield says, I'm gutted. So, did anybody else see the Scottish saltire being enthusiastically waved among the Croatian fans in the corner as the winning goal was scored? I just wonder where Beryl Ann Boyd was last night. Ha! I'll question him closely. And what next for poor old Steve McLaren now? It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Yeah, I've heard there may be a job going at the Revenue. I see that the Hollywood writers' strike has caused the sequel to the Da Vinci Code, called Angels and Demons, to be delayed because the script isn't ready. Well, says Lou, considering that both the book and the film of the Da Vinci Code sucked like a Dyson, and the script for that film may well have been written by a 3-year-old with access to too many crayons, I can't say I'm too upset about the news. That's a little on the acid side, Lou, but I think we can probably identify with that as well. And, Lady Lawson, Nigella. Quiz of the day. After last night's extravaganza, Nigella comes in for a lot of kindly words here. A 2-part quiz for your listener after Nigella's efforts last night. What is the great Nigella's weight gain since the start of the series? Please, this is ungallant and unworthy and untrue. And what was the worst food soundbite from yesterday's show? Was it A, squidged on, B, squadged on the hillock of sponge, C. Drape the passion fruit over the solid mound. D. Alligator-skinned capers. And E. I love the treacliness you get from the muscovado. Finally, where does she get those dinner-table guests from? I don't know, Magoo of West Lillian. All I'll tell you is this, she's never asked me. And I could eat. I'd eat for her. I wouldn't push it around the plate. And Lynn is with me now in this new strange studio. Not strange for you, because you share it with Sarah, too.
Yes, I'm with Ken, so it's all a bit,
Oh, I see.
Could do with a good sweep.
Exactly. Oh, legs, legs, luscious long legs, tongues lolling out at Fiona's fine pegs. From Ballymena to Bongler, you could just hear one long floor. What was Friday night made but a newsreader's legs? Pins, pins, made us all dream of sins. Oh, what a joy we weren't wearing moleskins. Now, for heaven's sake, the crookie. But lest the missus should see us from our rapture, please free us. Dear Terry, now gie us a butcher at Lynn's.
That Fiona, she's got legs up to here, hasn't she?
She has
just under her arms,
up
they start.
to the armpits. Yes, indeed. And she was wearing that, under her newsreader's dress. They tell me. But that was great. One of the highlights, wasn't it? I love the EastEnders. When I was asked at the end, what was your favourite bit? I couldn't remember. It had all gone by in a wonderful, glorious blur.
Surely you were drunk by then, surely.
Well, I was. I'd had a few. I'll be the first to admit it. I never touched a drop throughout the night.
That's cruel and unusual punishment.
Now, from loose morals, since I couldn't afford the vast sums needed to bid for the lots of the auction for things that money can't buy, wasn't it wonderful?
Great.
Oh, when I think of what Radio 2 listeners did, absolutely brilliant. 2.5 million.
I know.
Anyway, could I pay £5 for Miss Lynn Bowles to come to the Randy Old Goat? I know it. It's in Stoke Poges,
It's good beer, though, isn't it?
It seems quite a decent place, Stoke Poges. Not quite Gerrard's Cross, but it's all right. And perform the dance of the Seven Army surplus vests. That was a Spike Milligan one, wasn't it? I can assure her that her modesty will be protected by 3 lumps of warm lava bread, if she needs it.
Fabulous. Covered in lava bread.
There'll be a retiring collection, so when people see her in the Altogether, they'll be more than willing to pay to get her.
Get 'em on!
You're used to this kind of thing, obviously.
I'm afraid so.
Well, those of you who've come in out of the rain won't know that we had a bit of technical trouble at the transmitter, The rubber band snapped again, and Sarah Kennedy had to do an extra 3 minutes, and she's been complaining ever since. And look, Horatio Q. Birdbath, who won't let anything like that go by. Old Terry's in a right old state. The knobs are fighting back. He's come to work a good bit late, but I doubt he'll get the sack. The fuse is gone, the lights are dim, the tape deck's tangled up, the rocket player's on the blink, the whole thing's going... And now look at all the cookers dead, so he won't get any grub. I hope the wages are in the post. Oh, that'll be the rub. Now, Chuffer Danbridge. What ho, me old taut-tied trencherman. Chuffer. Still resting? Awaiting that white fiver from Larry. I know the lovely Nigella has her knockers. Oh, for heaven's sake. I'm quite partial to her savoury dumplings. Who isn't? And her honey-drizzled mounds. So I won't hear a word said against her. Good, Chuffer, because neither will I. But even I have to admit that I think her latest book is a bit of a swizz. It's nearly 400 pages long, and there are only 5 photos of her in it. That's like putting her cookery show on the radio. Doesn't she know she's the magic ingredient? And I didn't do the Fanny Craddock donut joke. So, we're in the clear then. Gus Tardwood, who's hiding in Cyprus, says, can I humbly suggest you reintroduce punchlines only? Yes, we only do the punchlines for the gags, and request TOGS to submit their favourites. Mine is, but it can't be a walnut whip. I ate that on the way down here. If you give him a biscuit, he might let you. You should have made him putt. He hits all his shots that distance. I don't care what clothes you pack. Just clear off. It's just some of them I recognise. Not the last one, but the others. Oh, yes. Incidentally, we're 2 hours ahead of the UK here in Cyprus, and so Ken Bruce is already halfway through his show. Good man. I personally thought he was eating a bacon butty, but you never know. It could be different in Cyprus. While listening to your little show, Jockey Club of Rochdale, who's not given us a tip today because there's a decidedly moderate bunch galloping off. And while listening to your little show, I heard your item on the suggestion the majority of scriptwriters have made up names for comedic effect. I must say, I doubt that as a percentage representation of the population that you probably have no more, no less made up names than the general public at large. Take, for example, a conversation I overheard recently between two youngsters. Oh, yes, she's had a baby now. What she called it? Jackson, with an X. Oh, that's classy, isn't it? Oh, being a keen watcher of quiz programs like Mastermind, University Challenge, I tuned in to watch a little bit of Chris Tarrant's new quiz show. Yes, he got a new quiz show in the gloaming of the afternoon. And some of the answers given by contestants, Chris, marry in haste, repent at dawn. That's good. And then Chris says, Blackrod knocks at the door of it with a staff for the state opening of Wimbledon, replied the contestant. This is great. Honestly, this will take over from the wicked winking witch of the West if we're not very careful. So the French are on strike. Get away. Now there's something new. For better conditions. In the country of 35-hour week and 6 weeks of holidays, I'm not sure how we're going to tell the difference. Oh, now, Robin Goodfellow, remember the Entente Cordiale? The French government, very firmly said they won't surrender. You see, they never got over the old Bastille, did they? And Marat being stabbed in the bath. Oh, this reminded me of one I heard last Christmas. Tannoy announcements. Yes, we had one for romantic duck that turned out to be aromatic duck. Good afternoon, customers. Come and get your bastard turkeys on offer. Sure she didn't mean that. Do stop fiddling with that, Fran.
She's broken it.
It's not good. The elastic's gone, look. I need a man in here. My elastic's gone. Look.
Okay, well, then I'll see to you, my dear. Look, although I live in County Durham, now I originally come from Fochabers, and I'd like to congratulate Lynn on her pronunciation.
Thank you.
Such a tricky village to get right.
Fochabers.
Okay.
Yes.
It's enough.
It'll turn up again.
Okay. As he thinks he should be obeyed, hangs on to Lynn and Fran's every word. Could you ask them to tell him to stop it?
Stop it.
Just stop it.
I'm off to the dentist this morning, and it's not funny him going around the house making the noise of a dentist's drill. So, the lives that people have, what goes on?
It'll all be all right. Don't you worry about a thing. It'll go fine.
But in the homesteads of Britain, what's going on? Anyway, look, England drop out of the Euro after losing to Croatia on home soil.
I didn't know Croatia could play football particularly.
And apparently England didn't until last night. The government lose 25 million records. Northern Ireland didn't make it into the final either. Billions of pounds of our money has been poured into a black hole called Northern Rock, and it's only Thursday. Still, you have two lovelies with us to cheer you up. What, me and Alan Boyd?
Oh, yes. Look, it couldn't be lovely. He's got a bit of a cough, though.
He's got lovely dimples.
He has. You want to see him when he's rested?
I've never seen that.
Seen him when he's rested.
No. And look, I read on the BBC News website yesterday a remarkable lady who reached the age of 102 years old next week has posed topless for a charity calendar.
That must be worth seeing.
Yes, indeed. And Nora Hardwick, Miss November, and she's pouting and posing behind the bar in Ancaster, Lincolnshire, dressed only in a pink scarf that looks just like Lynn's. I wonder if this means that the 2009 TOGS calendar will feature a well-known presenter in the All Together when the time comes. Well, I'm not doing it. Are you girls doing it?
I'm not doing it. I'm far too cold. You know me.
I bet Boydie would do it.
Yeah,
He'd do it.
Right. Yeah.
For a donut.
Rest first, though.
Oh.
Lynn's got donut sitting on her script.
Do you think that donut's got bigger while it's been sitting there?
I think it's growing.
It smells of, I think, toffee. I think that's got toffee on the top.
It's a toffee-coloured one.
It's certainly toffee.
It blends so nicely.
I only ever eat food that blends with my clothes.
Coordinates.
That's how it ends up.
She coordinates her food to what she's wearing.
Now look, after the 7 o'clock news this morning, the lass, that's the way they think of you, Lynn.
Oh.
Lynn the lass.
Oh, yeah.
Don Key Jacket says, the lass announced to Sarah Kennedy in the World she was looking for chunky knits.
Oh, no, that was me. This lass.
Oh, you were the one looking.
Well, I was reading the 7 o'clock news.
We're completely interchangeable, you know.
Well, Don Key Jacket says, do I qualify, both in size And having wasted an entire evening yesterday, I can think of a number of footballing super. Oh, for heaven's sake.
Lynn,
leave it out.
It was Sarah wanted to know whether I had a new fleece, and I said I was into chunky knits.
Were you?
Yeah.
Do you know, Lynn, you could do well
What?
to
Could
get
I?
a chunky knit around you.
I've got you. I don't need anyone else.
Well, you've got a chunky twit, in my case. Rob Sinfield says, so, apropos the news we've just heard, we're due for another senseless census. Not easy. I struggled to fill in the last one. As for the question, when did you first have sex? I know. Which of us can remember the last time? I was just contemplating one of the answers to my forthcoming EEC census form, says Hugh, a Mr. Jampton of Louth. Where it says, when did you first have sex? No, I can't go on. I'm sorry. How dare you pass that letter on to me, Barrowlands Boyd. That woke me up. I'm writing to officially confirm I'm now on standby. Thank you, Hugh. Mr. Joss of Lynch. I'm now on standby prior to taking over as head of security at Her Majesty's Inland Revenue. Following my recent departure as unofficial ladies' cloakroom attendant at the Hinch Golf Club, I am now ready for my next career move. Furthermore, Miss Joss's years spent as a bouncer in several nightclubs in Cork give me a ready-made lieutenant, while her mother is fully aware of the ins and outs of the criminal fraternity following her spell in Limerick, on the legal technicalities of forgery, bribery, blackmail and embezzlement. Bill. Good morning. Bill, Mr. Dursbum. Usually of a morning I find myself nodding in agreement with your sage advice. You do well, Bill, you do well to do so. However, your assertion that the correct response to the question, does my bum look big in this, is always in the negative. Certainly not. Set alarm bells ringing. Through personal bitter experience with the previous Mrs. Dursbum, I've discovered the correct answer, and it is, who said your bum was big? Here, have some chocolate. Use this sentence and you can save your marriage. I must say, that is one of the finest pieces of advice that we've heard so far this morning. There'll be more, of course, because they're all out there. And greetings from Knockin in Shropshire. Oh, a place with a famous shop. Well, have you noticed the profusion of extra TV channels? Yes, everything is +1 now. This means if you miss something or even enjoy something so much you really do have to watch it again immediately, then the same programme is broadcast an hour later on the +1 version of the channel. So, Hugh Stubby Goodlookin says, well, I've been thinking, how about a -1 channel? And this means you can watch a programme an hour before it's broadcast. And if you don't like it, well, you don't have to watch it. It's all very well your correspondents writing in with their names, some of which I'm sure are made up just to be funny. No, I think so. But, well, don't make me laugh. And spare a thought for people like me, who were born with a perfectly normal name, then over the years, with changing technology, it becomes ridiculous. Every time I ring a call centre, they ask my name, and then I hear a beep. And your name? Presta Starkey. Presta Starkey. I don't believe you. I pressed the wrong key.
You're listening to the Wake Up to Wogan podcast from BBC Radio 2.
Oh, that's nice. And that's James Blunt. And I'm only too thrilled to know that he's on the other end of a line here. Morning, James.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You'll be glad to know that a beneficent sun has come through the old dusty latticed windows of the BBC just as you appeared.
That's wonderful.
So where are you now, James?
I'm in London, actually. I'm just in London for one day. I'm in Brook Green, and then I'm heading out to Paris to shoot a rap video this evening.
Is there no limit to your talent?
I'm going into the urban market now.
Oh, I see. Well, now Radio 2 is hosting this huge concert on Wednesday, the 5th of December, with Newcombe Faulkner, Hoosiers, Mika, Katie Tunstall, and your good self. So it's very good of you to do this. We're very pleased with you, and thank you for doing it.
It's an absolute pleasure, and that's for children in need, isn't it?
Well, it's for anything we can do, yes. Some of it will be going to children in need, I know that. And the extraordinary thing about you is that you've only been going since about 2005, and you've won everything on the planet. Yeah,
some bad awards too, actually.
Oh, come on.
But it's been a roller coaster, and I've just had great fun with it, and really lucky to do what I love as a job.
So you came out of the army, and then suddenly you were a songwriter-singer.
Yeah, exactly. And struggling for a long time actually to get myself a deal. But then I got signed by a woman called Linda Perry, who was in Four Non-Blondes.
And of course, then, You're Beautiful was the one that set you on your way. I mean, a huge international hit. And the thing is, you're as big in America as you are here, which not many British artists can say. Some of them have
kind of mad experience. Actually, almost more crazy being recognised in places like Japan and Mexico, where obviously they don't speak the same language, but still completely have gone for it, which has been crazy.
Well, we've just played your latest single, and give us a guide onto what's the future. Apart from you're going to go into rap, and where do you go from there?
Unfortunately, I'm not really going to rap. There's an artist called Sonique, a French rapper, who has sampled one of my songs. So I think we're doing the Eminem Dido equivalent. But from there, I start touring the UK in January.
Oh, excellent.
It's with this new album, All Lost Souls, which is out, and we'll get on the road in the bus and go and see if anyone turns up.
Oh, they'll be there in some numbers, James, don't you worry. Thank you for joining us every morning, and thank you for taking part in our Radio 2 Music Club Live. It's been a privilege to have you with us.
It's an absolute pleasure, thank you.
James Blunt. And I was pleased to say that I was out at dinner last night because I had a terrible premonition about that football match with Bev and Liz. And, no, I didn't have a football match with Bev and Liz. I had dinner with Bev and Liz. The football match was going on elsewhere, but they might have been better off at Bev and Liz's. But after last night's shambolic performance, I think it's about time we recognise the true problem with the state of English football. It's Brigadier Sir Fife Banana, retired. Is it quite apparent from last evening's debacle? Our boys are not suitably motivated. How do we improve the situation? It's quite obvious. We need to pay them more. How can we expect them to be motivated on the pittances they earn? How true that is. For goodness sake, FA. I watched last night as our gallant lads skidded and slid their way out of Euro 2008 and the quagmire of the new Wembley Stadium. Indeed, the Boylan-Acre and his pundits mentioned the terrible pitch conditions on several occasions, as if it wasn't the same for both teams then. Is it me? Does this new state-of-the-art stadium not have a roof? And if used, would that not have kept the pitch a little drier? Well, that's from Michael Fish. Oh, what a show! What? Anna. Anna says, you're so much better than my national Polish radio. Well, that's a compliment indeed. Yes, indeed. Radio 2, better than Radio Poland. I just thought I'd cheer your day. A few favourite punchlines. The punchlines. We don't do the jokes, we just do the punchlines. Dick a dum-dum. OK, lads, tea break's over. Back in your heads. Well, as long as you put two hands and a face on it, you can call it what you like. And then, of course, the big topic of the morning is the fact that the EU wants to know about our sexual habits. Jonathan Cardigan says, here in racy Cheltenham, we have rubbish sex. And if we put them out on a Monday morning, a nice man comes along and takes them away in his dust cart. I'm writing to you to help track down... it's from Inspector Corner. Corner of the yard. Track down an habitual criminal, what we are looking for at the yard. Policemen do not talk like that. Policemen talk in a very, very well modulated home counties accent, particularly down here. He has many aliases. Beryl Boyd, Boydie, Allen, Barrowlands, and is wanted for the following offences. 1. Loitering with intent to spread profane jokes. Number 2, spreading profane jokes through the Chris Evans show. Have you been telling Chris Evans dirty jokes? Big mistake. 3, theft of snorkers. 4, and this, of course, is the ultimate crime, impersonating a producer. If you feel you can be of assistance, send the culprit to 999 Let's Be Avenue, and the yard can take it from there. Mind how you go now. Thank you, officer. I shall try pick my way through the morass. Tansy, yes. The Whitepits household is waiting with eager anticipation for tonight's episode of The Tudors. I haven't got into The Tudors yet. I believe there's a lot of skin and hair flying. We're not bothered about the factual content, not at all. Well, apparently there wouldn't be much point, since they barely touch the sides as far as historical record goes. Not at all. Who cares? The questions here are, will Henry and Anne finally get their kit off? Will there be another revealing risque romp? And if so, will they discuss the outstanding issue of the siege of Maidenhead? And will Henry succeed at last and storm the walls, or will Maidenhead remain intact? Well, Tansy, I don't live a million miles from Maidenhead myself, and it's been intact since the time of Henry VIII. And may I be the first to wish you a very happy Easter. Bunnies and chocks galore. May you enjoy many more. Thank you, Sandra. Kindly thought. That's only a matter of time. More important things. I see that the Daily Mirror, Sarah has sent me this, called me this cutting from this morning's, and just a few comments from Cheryl Baker and Russ Spencer of Scooch and me about, what's wrong with the Eurovision Song Contest. Austria have pulled out. Now, I know, this is a major tragedy. Österreich has Zippo. But the thing is, because they're disgusted at what they call political voting, it's been going on since God was a boy. What are you talking about? There's always been political voting, and it's just got worse since the Eastern European countries formed their own little bloc. But the really distressing news is that there's going to be another semi-final. So there's 2 semi-finals. I knew this would be my pension. It's like the World Cup. There'll be preliminary rounds, and there'll be semi-finals, and there'll be the final. And keep me and the family going for many years to come. But honestly, 2 semi-finals. And you know what's going to happen? Everybody gets a vote, which means that the block voting will be twice as bad. Come on, EBU. Have a bit of sense. Just the finalists to vote, then we might get a little less prejudice. Now, I haven't thanked my TOGS, who turned up in numbers on Friday night. They're all in the front row. And what money they raised. You know the TOGS calendar? So far, £100,346. And the sales of Janet and John, both CDs 1 and 2, £1,021,143. Unbelievable. And Baz of Wilts, who is there as well, his book of odes has raised £4,000 so far. So the money will continue to roll in, and let's hope that we can do even better than the 33 million last year. Terrific.
Wake up to Wogan!
This was a podcast from BBC Radio 2. Don't forget you can also download free podcasts for Steve Wright, Russell Brand and Chris Evans. Get more information now at bbc.co.uk/radio2.